Hey yo, football fans, it's another great year. Fantasy football fiends, grab your beer. Giving you the best draft tips for all your picks. Starts and sits to the waiver wire fix. From my drafts galore to stats that's hardcore. Triple F does it all, have y'all screaming more. So sit back, relax, let the experts prevail. JT Magnum, Ziggy Guns never fail.
What is up, fantasy football fiends? My name is Ziggy Guns, along with
JT Magnum.
And it is week 14, coming off of a holiday Thanksgiving week. Lots of action in the NFL during that week. Some news came down. Mike Tomlin was fined $100,000 for his sideline antics, not getting out of the way. And we're going to talk about... did you hear they might even take some draft picks, or not picks, but they might reposition them, or I don't know, something along that line, so that would be interesting.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some waiver wire pickups, and we're going to be doing our studs, duds, and Papasans of the week. So, JT, let's get it started.
All right, the first waiver wire pickup. And you guys, you're probably week 14. Some of you are starting your playoffs this week. So I know that some people start week 14 and 15 and 16. For me, we have week 15 and 16, but for the waiver wires this week, let's talk about some quarterbacks. One being EJ Manuel on the waiver wire. He is back and playing well, but I don't know if he has a really good matchup this week against Tampa Bay and that secondary, who is obviously, they have improved a great deal. So their defense is playing very well, and but EJ Manuel just seems to be a poised quarterback no matter what the defense he's playing this year. So I actually like him against Tampa Bay this week.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tampa Bay gives up points, and that's a good one to pick up. Certainly, there's some other names out there. Matt Sims.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect much from him. The Jets did bench Geno Smith. They haven't announced if he's going to remain starter, so that could be an interesting one against Oakland. But, you know, the way the Jets' offense has looked, I wouldn't trust anybody at quarterback at this point for that team. Even if Tom Brady was there right now, I wouldn't say pick him up.
Yeah. So for running backs, there's not really much of a choice on there. You know, if you got some hurt people or you got some people that you don't trust this week. The one I was going to talk about was Roy Halou from the Redskins. For some reason, Alfred Morris is like third or fourth in rushing in the league, but they don't use him. They keep using Halou, and I don't know why they do that, or why maybe that's why they suck and they're 3-9. I don't know, but they just won't. They keep abandoning Alfred Morris, and they just keep taking him out of the game and putting Halou in there, and they try to rush him and try to throw him some quick passes and stuff. And it's a little weird, but if he's somebody you might pick up for maybe PPR league for catches and yards running, and they're actually giving him some goal line carries. So along with Darrell Young. So
yeah,
it's weird.
Another name that might be out there that, you know, probably would be worth a look. D'Angelo Williams was down this week, and they left the door open for Jonathan Stewart and Mark Tolbert to kind of showcase their stuff. And Mike Tolbert looked pretty good out there. He was averaging 5 yards a carry, a little more than 5 yards a carry, and obviously he's a goal line back, you know, most of the time. So whenever they're at the goal line, if it's not Cam Newton himself, they'll give it to Tolbert. So if he's getting some extra carries on top of that goal line duties, he might be somebody worth a look too.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's hard to bring down. That's another thing, you know.
Yep.
He can run. He has a motor. He can run. And when a big 250-pound guy like that is coming at you, I mean, there's not many people that want to tackle him. So that is a really good pickup.
He actually caught some balls out of the backfield. He had 40 yards in the air. So
yeah, Tolbert was good in San Diego.
No.
So
yeah, he was solid guy. So
yeah. So and for wide receivers, we have Brandon LaFell. And I don't think we've actually really talked about him ever, but he's quietly like becoming one of Cam Newton's favorite targets. He throws to him deep, throws to him over the middle, and he gets a lot of targets like almost every game. So look for him to break out a little bit against New Orleans, with New Orleans concentrating on Steve Smith a lot.
Oh, yeah, and then on top of that, they're playing at the Superdome. You figured it's going to be a shootout. This is when Drew Brees, especially after the bash that he got this past Monday by Seattle, not only from the Seahawks, but from the media about his play. He actually had to come out and use the dreaded "we're the best road team" the last couple of years speech, which means he's mad right now. So I feel bad for the Carolina Panthers because I think he's going to take it out on them. I think, though, if anything, though, the Panthers should be having a great day in the air. So LaFell, for sure, in my opinion, is going to have a real good game, especially if they have to catch up.
And another little player to note, we've mentioned him in the past, but in a few weeks ago actually, and last week, Michael Crabtree.
Yep.
If nobody's picked him up, pick him up. He actually looked good in the first game back from that Achilles injury, and he had a catch for 60 yards. So I mean, it looks like he's already returning to close to good form. Maybe this week's not a good week to start him going against the Legion of Boom in Seattle. But still pick them up and hold them for maybe your next playoff game or your playoff game that they start in the 15th. Or the week 15th.
What did I say what happened when Crabtree came back? I called it last week on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say that Bolden's going to have an outstanding, game because of the fact that he's going to get targeted 100 times because of it. And sure enough,
yeah, you can't double
Bolden
him.
was open.
You can't double him now. So, and Legion of Boom doesn't do a lot of doubling, so it's going to be a little different game this week for San Fran, but still pick up Crabtree if he's available. I mean, he's probably gone, but if he's available, try to pick him up. And for the tight end, Zach Ertz, we haven't actually talked about him at all. And he's been the last couple weeks scoring touchdowns and doing very good for Philadelphia. It seems to be Riley Cooper's favorite targets.
Yeah, like I said, we joke about it that it's a race thing.
Yeah.
we only bring it up because of the fact that the Eagles had the news about Cooper with the race and stuff like that, and now that Nick Foles is the quarterback, he's been having good games. It's not really because of that, but like I said, Nick Foles is so used to these second string guys because that's who he was practicing with, and they're doing awesome now, and they're becoming the stars.
Yeah, it's funny because we joke about it because of the whole N-word thing that Riley Cooper said at the beginning of the year. But the truth is, like, Deshaun Jackson gets double teamed.
Yeah, I mean, but now Deshaun Jackson is not anywhere to be found. You see McCoy not having the game he used to have. I mean, it's night and day difference with the offense of what's working for them and what's working whenever Vic is quarterback, and it's just crazy though. Just looking at it, if you look at it from the outside, you're like, wow, what?
Yeah. So,
but yeah, Ertz is the leading receiver. He was the leading receiver in targets, the receptions, yards, and touchdowns. I mean, Zach Ertz, if that continues, he's going to have a monster game.
Yeah, he also uses Brent Selleck, who happens to be white. Yep. He doesn't like to throw to the brothers, apparently. Man. But we're just kidding.
Yep.
But defense of the week defense to pick up this week, the Raiders, probably available in every league. So, and they're going against the Jets. So, and what are the Jets doing? Turning the ball over every 5 seconds. So
turning the ball over, changing quarterbacks like it's their underwear. I mean, the quarterback's going to throw probably 3 picks, so that's going to be a great defensive pickup.
Yeah, pick up the Raiders while you can now. Even if the Jets are at home, pick up the Raiders. They just don't look in sync. They're not doing well. Even if it's a low-scoring game, it doesn't matter. It still favors the defense for Oakland. So just pick up the Raiders if you can this week. It might help your playoff chance, especially if your defense doesn't have a favorable matchup.
Exactly.
So let's move on to studs, duds, and Papasans. Who's your stud of the week?
Mine's going to be Julian Edelman. I think Edelman, I mean, obviously, he's been on fire, especially now that Gronkowski's back, even now that Amendola's back. It seems, though, that Tom Brady, in this kind of resurgence that he's had these last few weeks, he's been really targeting Edelman, and he's been just the guy that's been doing what Welker was to them last year, and I got a feeling that's not going to stop. I mean, he had 12 targets, 100 yards, 9 receptions, and I just see Brady only throwing to these two guys the rest of the way going forward, Gronkowski and Edelman. And Edelman is going to be the benefactor of majority because they're probably going to be trying to target Gronkowski more because of how big he is. So I think Edelman's going to have a monster game this week.
Yeah, my stud of the week is going to be Eddie Lacy going against Atlanta. You saw C.J. Spiller run wild last week for Buffalo against Atlanta, and Green Bay at home. They have to run the ball a lot. They have Matt Flynn at quarterback. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is not playing. Even if Aaron Rodgers was playing, I'd still tell you Eddie Lacy. So he's just a beast, and they got to run him. So I see him getting maybe 140, 150 yards this week with a couple touchdowns, or maybe a touchdown or two. But he's my definite stud of the week.
That's a good one too. My dud of the week is going to be Frank Gore. He is going up against the Seahawks. It's going to be a great game, I think, defensively for both teams. I think it's going to be low scoring. It was the first time they played, or at least it was first in a few quarters, not playing. But I think that if anything, though, with Crabtree back, I think they're going to try to maybe make some. I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but they're going to maybe try to use Kaepernick a lot more than they probably should in this game because of the fact that they're probably going to be a little bit scared of this defense on the ground. And I think it's going to really throw off their game plan. And in essence, it's going to make Frank Gore get mad again. Because isn't that when he got mad? When they didn't use him? Wasn't it after that game?
I don't know. He gets mad a lot when they don't use him. And he seems to have a valid point. When they do use him, they win. When they do really run him, they win. Because you have to respect him in there, and when especially against a 7-man or 8-man front, like they still run against those regardless. And now that Crabtree's back, you might see a little bit more of a 7-man front, so you got to run them.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, and I just have a feeling though that they're not. I think there's going to be a lot more looks downfield instead of, or play actions instead of.
Seattle struggles. The only time Seattle struggles against the pass is against bunch formations. They've been proven to not be able to defend bunch formations because they can't get hit on the wide receivers and stuff like that. So if you can run and pass out of bunch formation, San Fran might have a better chance at winning, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens with that. But my dud of the week is going to be Tony Romo going against Chicago. In the wind, it's cold, and it's going to be, it could be either snowing or raining this week. There's a lot of precipitation in the air this week. So it could be a cold, rainy, snowy game, and windy, because it's going to be windy in Chicago. So I don't think Tony Romo is going to do that well with a slippery ball or throwing in the wind against that Bears defense who likes to get, turnovers and things like that. So he's going to be my dud.
Yeah, that was a good dud too, probably. If Romo does come out strong, the weather is going to slow him down, I think. And especially since it's a Monday night game, it's going to be even colder at night. So we'll see what happens. My sleeper of the week, he has been probably one of the most frustrating players in all of fantasy owners, even more so than C.J. Spiller and Chris Johnson and Ray Rice. And that is Hakeem Nicks. A lot of people had high hopes for him. I think he is showing the last couple of weeks that he's been healthy, just haven't had many targets. But against San Diego's defense, I think he should be the guy that Eli should be throwing to, and I think he'll have a good game. So if there was one week where you decided that you're finally going to use him, this would probably be the week.
Yeah, my Papasan of the week, I picked him actually not too long ago against Jacksonville, and he dudded it up on me. It's going to be Ben Tate. He looks a little bit healthier from the ribs. He ran wild last week, even after I benched him because I was angry at him. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it again against Jacksonville this time, that hopefully they run him, but it's gonna be Ben Tate this week. Hopefully he gets 100 yards and a couple touchdowns like he did last week.
See what happens.
Yeah. So you guys with your fantasy football this week in your playoffs, start all your studs. If you need any help, please tweet us. We will try to get to them the best I can. Tweet at both of us at the same time, so that way we can each see it, because I'll be at work and I can't tweet from work. So I tried my best to try to get back to you guys, but lately I've been working so much it's a little hard. At least if Siggy sees it, he can give some advice while I'm not around. Then when I get home, I can tweet you guys all back. But tweet at both of us at the same time with your questions.
One of the important things too is don't be afraid to use a defense that you're not, that you would never think of using, because one thing that's killed me in one of my big money leagues was trusting my Kansas City defense the whole time. And that literally killed me these last 2 weeks because I think a couple of weeks ago, they gave up, I forgot how many points. It was something ridiculous. And I actually got -5 points from that defense. And I lost the game by 1 point overall. And if I would have just not played the defense, I would have won by 4. So stuff like that, you never think would happen whenever the defense was playing so good. And if you see a defense that you feel is just doesn't look good on paper, even if they were a great defense, like say Kansas City, then go for a defense where you think, well, at least this team doesn't score a lot, and let me play them. Because if you played against the Browns or the Jets and you picked a defense that was playing those teams, you were probably going to win your league just on those defenses. So don't be afraid to look at matchups when it comes to defense, because that's an important tip there. Because don't always trust the Kansas Cities or Seahawks and stuff like that.
And don't be afraid to bench star players.
That's another one too.
If you got somebody going against Darrelle Revis, you got somebody going against Richard Sherman, like bench them. Don't start them because you're gonna struggle. You've seen Richard Sherman shut down people in the past. They just have. I think this year he's only given up maybe 100-yard receiver. It was like T.Y. Hilton, and I mean he wasn't the only one defending him. I think it was, but just the fact that I can remember that will tell you right there how good Richard Sherman is. Like, don't start star players against certain teams if you know that the matchups don't favor them. You gotta look at your matchups. You gotta look at who you think might do well this week and insert the best player possible into your lineup. Especially for playoffs, because this is win or go home.
Yep.
So, like I said, tweet us both, and we'll try to help you the best we can this week. We know it's a tough week with playoffs and everything coming up, or maybe you're trying to make the playoffs next week. So, and we'll do the best we can to answer all your questions. All right. So, anything else you need to add?
That's it.
All right, Fantasy Football Fiends, we out. Peace.